Hey, board gamers, BJ from Game Gumbo here. Back with another episode of Gumbo Live. It's episode number 122. Gumbo Live, the #1 Facebook Live talk show dedicated to board gaming. Our Board Game Gumbo, a proud member of Punchboard Media. Hey, check out some of our other fine members like L-Doc Logan. Oscar provides reviews to help you find a game that may fit your shelf and gives his opinions on the games. The reviews are both in Spanish and in English. And he actually taught me one of the games we're talking here tonight. Had a great time. He's an excellent teacher. Punchboard Media, where we all bring something to the table. Before I get the special guest up here, one quick show announcement. I want to say congrats to our Tiny Epic winner. The Tiny Epic Games contest. The winner is Brandon Sparks from, hey, Tim, from Wisconsin. Would you believe? Thanks go out to Gameland Games as well as the Ship Shape Gamer. Check it out, shipshapegamer.com. for all of their inserts and everything else.
BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Steve and Verla, on Gumbo Live, number 122. We were supposed to have Tim Virnig tonight, but we don't have him from Thunderworks Games. We're going to try to connect with him another time. Yeah, Tim, I just saw that. We'll try to reschedule. But I want to tell you about a game that I got to play recently. I've got to play High Rise, and I've played it a bunch since last week. My friend Oscar L-Doc Logan from Punchboard Media, who's also an Envoy member, had a thing where he was teaching it online through the Envoy Gateway. So anybody out there, you want to learn a game, maybe you don't have a lot of game teachers in your area, or maybe you're stuck and you can't get outside of your house due to the COVID-19 restrictions. Hey, here's your chance. Log on to Envoy Gateway, and every night they've got Envoy heralds from around the country that are going to teach you games. One of those was High Rise. I was having trouble getting it played, frankly, because we just don't have the game group anymore. And it wasn't something I felt comfortable with teaching my family until I really learned from somebody. So Oscar did a fantastic teach. What is High Rise? High Rise is the new game from Gil Hova. It was successfully kickstarted after he retooled a little bit. He tried first with some big plastic buildings and then went back to the drawing board and got Kwanchai Moria to do this amazing art. Look at that box cover. All of the buildings look like that. And what you are is you're competing town builders trying to build up a town on this big, I guess it's sort of a rondel is the best way to think of it. The board is, you can see it there at the bottom, and there's the standees. Not normally a fan of standees, but these are amazing. Kwanchai just knocked it out of the park with this art. On the board, you're going to move your mogul around to these different city zones. And when you hit the city zones, you can only go to one space in the city zone. So it's not worker placement, but it's sort of, you're going to take that action when you get there. No one else can take that action without a special power. And each of those actions lets you do things like build stuff or get materials to build stuff or score victory points. But some of the actions are more powerful. You can always take the base action, but some of them have actions that you can get corrupted by doing it. Basically, you're bribing and you're cheating and you're stealing your way, a la a certain someone that should be coming to mind, in New York real estate. I don't know if that.
Yeah, too soon.
Too soon. So as you go around the board, you have the option of taking those stronger actions. But if you take those stronger actions, you're going to get corruption, negative points at the end of the game. Now, you can manipulate that. You can go to other spaces and get rid of corruption. But there's a penalty at the end of every round when we come all the way around the board and you play 3 rounds in the big game, which is the one that I've been playing. Mm-hmm. When you come around the board during the 3 times, it's going to look to see who's got the most corruption. And there's going to be some penalties. You're going to have some special powers you can't use. And at the end of the game, you could lose a lot of points. It could make or break the game. But to win, you really need to use those stronger powers. There was one player that we played in one of our games that said, I'm not taking any corruption. I'm just going to play it straight and try to just maximize my actions. And they just have trouble with that. You gotta live on the edge a little bit if you're going to deal in New York real estate. So that's the fun part. Managing your mogul as you go around around the rondel, and also the way, and let me show you some of the pictures, the way that the buildings just rise above as you're building the city. I mean, it is super photogenic and it feels it. The reason that you're so obsessed with trying to get those buildings is that it's the highest building in each of the zones that's going to score a little bit more points. You score points for building the building, of course. You get the special powers from where you built the building. When other people come back and land on your building, you're going to get some bonus things. It's usually getting materials for building your next building. But at the end of every round, we're also going to look to see who built the biggest buildings in each of those areas. So you kind of want to spread out a little bit, put people around, get those tall buildings. And I'm always eyeing, I'm looking at what Verla and I'm looking at what Steve's doing, because I got to be one step higher. And it's got that kind of Coliseum feel to it, where the first round, you're going to be building lots of little 2s and 3s and 4s. But by that last round, look at that one. I've built an 11 with a +2 steeple on top. I think it's called a spire. And that's just so much fun when you're trying to do it. Now, why am I bringing it up tonight? Because Gil Hova, the designer and publisher with Formal Ferret Games, has a Kickstarter going on right now. That Kickstarter is to get those plastic pieces that he tried the first time. Hey, it's already 50% at least. I haven't checked it since this morning, but it was going, bonzo the first couple of hours. So it's gonna fun. And now you're gonna have the choice to use those beautiful standees from Kwanchai Moria, or instead of the kind of the plain plastic pieces he had before, he took Kwanchai's art, had Daniel Newman sculpt them into plastic.
Okay.
And now look what you've got. These unique buildings that all have that futuristic look that Kwanchai is known for. The rest of the colors that you see are the typical, the different players.
Right.
And of course, he's got little markers there, because just looking at a building, you may not be able to tell if that's a 5 or a 6 or how tall they are. So this is that kind of visual reminder. But as you can see, the art is stunning. The game looks beautiful on the table. Are there some downsides? Mick and Starla, if you watch their video,
yes.
Steve, I think you saw it. Do you remember what their basic complaints were?
No, I don't remember what their basic complaint was, but I think they said something to the effect of, was it that they were saying that it got to the end of the game and it was kind of a scramble to get some things done, and they felt like they were kind of flailing throughout, and then there was a bit of a rush. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, right. That build up to becoming really powerful in the third one. They also didn't like the fact that the 2-player game is one of those where
they did. That's
the third player is sort of a dummy player, but somebody has to control it. It's not my favorite way of doing 2-player games. I much rather where the third player is something that kind of takes stuff away on the board and you have to deal that. People complain about Coimbra with 2 or 3 players. I don't at all. I think it plays great at 2 or 3. I love the fact that I can see what the dummy player is doing, and then I got to try to outmatch it, right, Verla, with Coimbra?
Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah.
It's really well. I know some people complain about it. It's not. This one, I'm not that much of a fan. I have not played a 2-player for that reason. It looks a lot more fun to play at a 3 or 4. So
you said
Gil.
You said you played the
Gil,
big game.
I don't want to throw it on the bus. I'm not saying the 2-player isn't good. I haven't actually played that. It just wasn't enticing to me. But go ahead, Steve.
When you said you've been playing the big game, I mean, when I looked at what Mick and Starla had posted pictures of, it was a table full of game. Is it unwieldy on the table?
Well, I've got a big table, so my dining table is big enough to fill. It filled up almost my whole dining table, though. I mean, it takes a lot of table space. What I meant by the big game is you can play it with just 2 ages. And that's kind of the introductory game. Gotcha. You can even play the kind of beginner's introductory. Let's call it the standard game. You can play the introductory game where it kind of juices everything already ready. You're right into the second round. You already have some stuff, and you're going to go right into building. I preferred that long build into the 3. Now, does it take longer? Yeah. Two of the games took probably 2.5 hours. The last one was closer to 2 hours. So that one was pretty smooth, but that was with people that knew how to play it. When I played with Oscar, it was a long one, but that was between the teach, having 2 people not as comfortable with English, me included. So I was probably one of them. So that was a little tough. I was playing with some players from Mexico. So Oscar's a Spanish content creator, and he had he's very popular down there. So he had a bunch of his fans that wanted to play, and I was like the 4th guy. So I probably slowed it up a little bit, and plus it's a teach too, but. Yeah, I saw Verla just posted the Kickstarter for the Ultra Plastic Edition. Ultra Plastic is the wild resource that you can use, which is really fun. You can use it as a wild resource, or you can use it to score more points. But this way you can get the Ultra Plastic Edition. That is high rise. I'm not going to say it's for everybody, but if you like the kind of games I like, where you like engine building games, you love, trying to, that Tokaido, what's the one, I think, Verla, that you also like about the monks making beer?
Heaven and Ale?
Heaven and Ale.
Yeah,
if you like that Tokaido Heaven and Ale mechanic where you can go grab that juicy spot,
Right.
but now you're leaving people 2 or 3 actions behind you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you like that mechanic, and I love that mechanic.
It's a great mechanic.
Yeah, I forget it. Martin Wallace used it in that Australia game too. So if you like that mechanic, it's really well done in High Rise. In fact, because it's based on zones rather than, imagine with Tokaido, instead of just being space. Hey, Steve, you and I played Tokaido like 10 times back to back.
Sure.
It got to the point where we kind of knew what each other were doing.
The game almost played itself.
It felt like it, right?
Yeah, it can.
This one, because it's zones, where there's 3 or 4 actions in each zone, and you can only do one of them absent special powers, that throws a twist to that mechanic that I think refines it, makes it better. So yeah, High Rise, 2 thumbs up for me.
Cool.
Nice. Have to check that out.
Chris Strain says, make games or play them. The eternal question.
Yeah.
All right, what about you? Have you guys played any games lately?
Been playing online with
Lots
Verla
online.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are you all playing?
Well, we're still playing at least 2 copies of Teotihuacan. And I'm still struggling with 2 different versions of the same game going. I'm in different colors in the different games and have to remember, am I yellow this time or black this time? Still chasing you. Haven't caught you yet, but some of us are on your heels. And I've been playing Nanga Parbat online too, which is a Steve Finn game, 2-player, really, really good little game. It was one of the ones that he had as his Kickstarter for 2020, and I think he still has more that are available in the Kickstarter edition that you might be able to order through his website. But a very cool little game, a 2-player game where the conceit is that you're exploring a mountain. You're going up the mountain and down the mountain, and you have a guide, and you're collecting animals along the way. You could be either trapping them or feeding or furs or what have you, but you're doing some set collection. And the clever part of it is how you move around the mountain. It's a triangular mountain, but that triangle is divided into 1 triangle at the top with 2 triangles underneath in the middle and 3 at the base. And each of those triangles mimics the same 3 at the bottom, 2 in the middle, 1 at the top heading. So when you play in one of those triangles, the animal that you collect, the spot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, dictates which of the next big triangles you go to. So it's kind of like I was telling you, BJ and Alex, the other night, if you've ever played like a super tic-tac-toe game where there's a tic-tac-toe board inside of every one of the quadrants and it dictates where you travel to next, it's very much like that. You're putting down hikers, you're redeeming them to maybe if you get a big contiguous group of hikers, you can turn them in for a campsite. But each time somebody else claims that, they have to go either lower to get points or higher to get points. You've taken up spots along the scoring track that are eating up good places. It does not outstay its welcome. It is real tight, real snappy. And as we were saying the other night, I know Steve and I love Steve's stuff. I think this is his best.
Really?
I really do think it's his best.
Nice.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this one. I love your idea that it's sort of like that super tic-tac-toe. But what I really like, my favorite part of the mechanic is the decision as to, especially if you have the brown bear, where you can move them to the place they don't want to be. Right. And you know that you're getting it back wherever you want because you're just going to use your brown bear. That is super delicious. Verla, you played Nanga Parbat?
I haven't yet. I need to get on there. Is it 2-player only?
It's two-player.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a good 2-player.
Your
there's
mom is
strategy in it,
right
but
now.
it is very tactical. You have to really, when you move, you're giving the next player control over the board. And you want to move them into places where they can't make connections, where they can't get the animals they want, and they'll have to, or if they want the animal that's there, they're going to send you right back to where you need to go. It's
Steve,
a couple of
do you
spots
have
ahead.
a strategy? Do you have a favorite animal? As any one of them you think, John Newman has an idea that 1 or 2 of the animals make a pretty good combination. I want to see if you pick
I do
up on
like
that.
the animal that will let you flip-flop hikers.
Yes.
because if you have, you could have somebody who's positioning themselves between your hikers, trying to keep you from connecting them together. And when you have to have contiguous hikers to redeem them for campsites. But if you can do that movement of flipping their hiker that's in the way with one of yours, and all of a sudden you create a longer island, that seems pretty powerful to me.
What's the gray one do? Do you remember?
The gray one, I actually have a game that I'm playing with Luke open right now. I can hover over it and tell you. That lets you switch any two animals anywhere on the board. That can be useful, especially if you want to be kind of, if you're doing set collection, you want to keep somebody from getting what they need to complete their 6-of-a-kind animals.
Just keep moving it.
Just keep moving it around. Play, and we actually have debated how much is it good to get out in front versus play from behind, because that red panda, whenever you take the red panda, if you're in tied or behind the person, it's just a free point. Just a free point each time.
Is that Dr. Finn's way of a catch-up mechanic?
It seems like it could be, but I actually think Luke just in the last game, I thought I was running away with it, and then he just pipped me at the end with the very last move and strung them together and beat me 30-29. And at the same time, but yeah, good game. A game that makes you happy to have played it when you've lost. And you want to, let's fire it back up again. Put them back out there.
Those are the best.
That's a really good game. It is super strong.
Verla, Steve Finn was on. Oh, I forgot to put you up. Steve Finn was on the show, and when he described the 4 games that are out on that Kickstarter that just finished, right, about a week or two ago.
Yeah, I think so.
A couple weeks
It's been
ago,
a
I
while.
think.
Yeah. This is the one that caught my eye. I was like, oh, I really like that, the way he was describing it. And then now getting to play it, it's like, oh wow, this is a game. Doesn't take long apparently. Although when we play it online turn by turn, it's going to take 3 days. But
right.
It seems like if you were playing it live, Steve, I bet you could knock this thing out in 20 minutes.
I think you're right. Or if you were playing together online and you were really taking your moves back and forth, probably less, because it's doing all of the accounting for you.
If you're playing on BGA, yeah.
If you're playing it on BGA and you have somebody live with you rather than doing asynchronous turn taking, you could probably be done with this game in maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah. Beauty of BGA, games that take 45 minutes only take 20 on BGA.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator seem to stretch out the time of games.
Agreed.
Oh my goodness.
Agreed. I think Steve still has more of these available even after the Kickstarter. They might be on his site, and I think it was around 28, all done and dusted. So if there's a link to that, and we can throw that in there. If we have anybody who's still with us after the fiasco of earlier,
it is
Mike, we got 8 people up still. Oh, just went down to 7.
Mike Henson is checking in. Hey, Mike, thank you. He says, y'all be safe down there. We're crossing our fingers. Yeah. Kirk says, animals and hiking, you have to check this out. Yeah, Kirk, this is right up your alley. And again, think about Kirk. Kirk is the one that teaches English in Asia. I apologize, Kirk. I just can't remember which country it is. But he's always hiking out there. Just beautiful, beautiful hiking. But he uses games as a way to teach English to those people. So he's teaching English as a second language. This is the perfect game for it. You're going one-on-one with someone. You're explaining the different animals and what they do. So you're talking a lot about movement and, to me, simple English commands that people can learn. So
turn-taking directions. Yeah, absolutely.
Patrick Newman says he backed Nanga Parbat and Mining Colonies. I tell you, out of the 4 that he did, Nanga Parbat, I'm so happy I backed it because I think playing on BGA so far with Kelly has been fun, but I really can't wait to put it on the table. I think it's
nice. and if it looks good with the little wooden meeples, that should really pop on the table too. It's a small game. It's not going to take up a big footprint, I don't think, on the table. But those little meeples are going to be an attention grabber.
Hey, Spencer's checking in. Spencer, we don't have the ability with the chat to pop it up, but if you guys haven't seen Spencer's channel, he and Laura have been playing games together, and they played Horrified, Verla, one of my favorite little cooperative games. Have you played Horrified yet, Verla?
Yeah, several times.
Yeah. So it's Spencer and Laura were playing that right before. So that was.
I'm not seeing the comments, but hey, Spencer, good talking with you the other day, and love what you're doing online. Keep up the great stuff.
Yeah, Luca just posted it. Apparently, you can still pre-order the Kickstarter edition for Nanga Parbat. I'm telling you, this is going to be a quiet little sleeper for Dr. Finn, but I will play this over Biblios anytime. I tell you, I think so really liked it. Oh, Spencer says they won. They beat him. Oh, congratulations. But I didn't get to stay to the end, so I missed out. And instead of that, I had to deal with technical issues with Gumbo Live. It's Kirk says Taiwan, so that's right, Taiwan. So, gotcha. All right, Verla, I talked about a game. Steve talked about a game. You're up. What you got?
Oh goodness. I haven't
What have you been
got
playing
deep
lately?
into it yet, but I'm really excited that they've got Seven Wonders Duel on BGA now.
Mhm.
Getting excited to dive into that. We've been having Potion Explosion tournaments.
Yep.
First
All
class
right,
on Yukata.
Yep.
Seven Wonders Duel. One of I'll be honest, man. I'm having a blast playing with Eric Batts and our friend Eric. Number one, I don't win very many games, and Eric let me win the first game, so that was actually fun. What's the difference? Have you played the base game of Seven Wonders, the big 7-person game?
I have just that one time with the two of you on BGA, and I was so lost because it was turn by turn, and I'd only done duel and was trying to compare them, but they're really not the same.
Yeah.
I think Steve would agree with me that you played Seven Wonders live, correct, Steve?
Yeah.
Or have you only played online?
No, I've played it once or twice on the table, and it's a lot to pay attention to on the table. It's a lot to manage on the table with tucking your cards and remembering who do I pass to this time and which way are we going. The online makes it very app-like in that sense. It really does, do the accounting for you.
I like Seven Wonders Duel a lot, and I think I'd rather play it on the app version even than playing it live, because it does all of the numbers for you and the money, and it sets up all the cards for you, all the stuff I don't really want to do, the counting basically, right? Verla, what about you? What do you think?
I'm really excited. I've got a game started with Eric as well. I think we're both still picking which wonders we want to go for, but I can't wait to see what the version is like online.
I've only played Seven Wonders. I haven't played Duel, so now that it's online, I'm going to have to give it a shot.
Nice.
Johnny Pack checking in. Johnny Pack says First Class and Seven Wonders Duel are two of his favorites. Yeah.
Nice.
Man has taste. What can I tell you?
Good taste.
The Seven Wonders Duel. It's Antoine Bozon. It's Bruno Cathala. Bruno basically taking Seven Wonders and distilling it down to a 2-player game. The Bruno has said that the switch got flipped when he finally figured out that having different ways of laying out the cards was the key to breaking the game into 2 players. Right. So it sort of simulates the knowledge that cards are getting passed around the table in the big Seven Wonders, and you don't know if that card's ever going to come back to you, especially in a big game. I love playing with 7 players. Some people complain about it. I love playing with 7 players because it's so chaotic. It really is. You're in 3-player game, you feel like you control it a little bit because you kind of know what cards are coming back. 7-player cards, oh man. You're only going to see one of those cards back, right?
It's completely chaotic, but it still feels like when you're playing with 7 people, you're still playing a 3-player game. The person to your left and the person to your right. You can't think about what's going to get back to you because you just never know, but you do have to pay attention to what you're giving to the person next to you each time.
That's where Armada comes in. If you haven't played Armada makes it truly a multiplayer game because you have to watch everybody in there. Yeah, so I like Seven Wonders with the Armada expansion, and I don't need anything else. I know people like cities or leaders or heroes, whatever. I always forget all the different names. But to me, Seven Wonders and Armada, and you've got yourself a game. But back to Seven Wonders Duel, what do you think, Verla, about the way that they set the cards out?
I haven't gotten to it yet on the screen. We're not that far enough in.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying I'm excited about it.
Okay.
But you know what else I was thinking?
You haven't finished your game yet.
Yeah. Oh, we're barely getting started. But that just reminded me with the cards, the way they're laid out in Duel in general. A couple weekends ago, I learned in the Hall of the Mountain King. And I don't know if you guys have played that, but you are building a tableau of cards that's kind of laid out the same way as in Seven Wonders Duel, except you're building it up instead of taking cards from it like you are in Duel. And that's part of how you get your resources and everything. And that was definitely a hot game I've played lately that I've really liked.
Yeah. It's a good mechanic. I remember there was an actual game of solitaire that I used to play on the table that was pyramid, either an inverted pyramid or a straight pyramid, and you had to pull off cards in sums of 13. And if you could pull them off, you had the same kind of thing. But what I think they took from that and then put it into something like Duel was some cards up, some cards hidden. And the idea that you could uncover something, but you don't know what it is, and you could be feeding somebody the next big card that they need is really nicely done.
Right.
That's a cool. I haven't played that version of Solitaire.
It's a cool little version of Solitaire. Basically, if I remember correctly, I think your aces were 13, and you had to then take off a king and a 2, and a queen and a 3. And so basically, if you could uncover a combo that made 13 and the card wasn't covered, the 2 cards weren't covered, you could lift them off and then expose new cards that you could be pulling off the board. So it was basically
and you're still trying to get rid of all the cards
to
on
erase
the
the
table.
board. Yep.
Are some of them face down like in
that game that
Seven
I
Wonders
played,
Duel?
they're always face up, so you can plan ahead and see what's going. But the Seven Wonders idea of flipping it row to row, or having it so that something, when you open up something, you're not just uncovering the card, you're exposing what the card was. It could be a mystery that's great for the other person. I like that. Sounds good. I gotta get on that and play it myself.
I'm gonna have to look that up and see if we can find it. Johnny Pack says that Sierra West's Mountain of Cards was inspired by Seven Wonders Duel. And we've seen other games like that. Our friend Joel, who did the Joe Lewis did the one about the butterflies.
Fluttering Souls.
Fluttering Souls has that little cascade of upside down and right side up cards. So that is a pretty cool mechanic that a lot of designers have done. Now he also mentions Russian railroads. Same designer, Helmut somebody, I can't think of his name, but same designer's First Class.
Helmut Owe.
Mike.
Okay.
Mike. Helmut Owe? Okay.
I think so.
Might be something we want to check out. I've always heard of Russian Rails being a really good game, and First Class is one of my favorite games.
Yeah,
so,
they love it in Meepletown.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. All right, so one last game, and then we'll close it out.
Yeah, sure.
BJ from Game Gumbo, I've got my guests here, Verla and Steve. We're trying to salvage episode number 122.
Put the fiasco back up on there.
Yeah, we should, because of the fiasco tonight. Well, hopefully we get Tim Birding back up at another time. But I got to play a lot of Cartographers and wasn't allowed to talk about it until tonight. So it'd be fun to talk about it. Have either one of y'all played Cartographers?
I have.
Yes, game. I have. I really like it.
Yeah, Verla, what do you know the elevator pitch? What is Cartographers all about?
So it's like a flip and right, and you've got the different sections and all the terrains and stuff. You've got the little mountain in the middle and coins. It's been a while since I played it, so I'm trying to pull this up. But basically, cards come up over 4 seasons where it's saying different goals that you're trying to get on your own little sheet that you're drawing on. And people support you. These monster cards come out, and then you have to swap your sheet with somebody else, and they get to try and mess you up. And
that's it. The queen is looking for this lands that are out there to be discovered, and she's appointed the 4 map makers, the royal cartographers, to go exploring in the countryside. But to do that, you're going to encounter all these monsters, right? They're going to try to mess up your board. Over the 4 seasons, as Verla said, you're really trying to match up the way your map looks to what the decrees that the queen wants. Maybe the queen wants forests and mountains to be right next to each other in a certain pattern. And if you do that, you score points for everyone you do that. So I liked it. It was a flip and right. This, I think, adds just enough to make me even more interested. The more that I can get into the theme of a roll and write, the more that I like it. And that's, when you talk about welcome to, or the, what was it, floor plan that Alex was talking about, Alex wasn't talking about scores at all. He was talking about the craziness of having a hot tub next to the living room, next to the other hot tub. Next to the other hot tub, right? So, and that's the beauty of Cartographers. I was lucky to play it here in the family, but also Jay Bell, who just checked in. Thank you, Jay, for checking in. So Jay and I got to play it. Jay's also a big fan of Cartographers, so it was nice to play it. Here's the twist. Nice. So they bring out these heroes, Verla. So you know the big bad monsters that are going to come out. You can have heroes come out like this dwarf who can help you defeat those monsters. You're going to draw that little sword and those little stars around the sword. And if the monsters land in any of those spaces, they're defeated. So those, and why is that important? Because these, I don't remember the monsters very well from the first game, but these monsters are all fun. They are going to try to mess you up. Zombies were my favorite. If the zombies are left alone and there's any empty spaces around it, and of course, as Verla said, Steve, you have to give up your map sheet to the person to your left or right. I can't remember what it is, but it goes to the other player, and that player is eyeballing your sheet going, Steve's trying to score over here. I'm going to plop a dragon right in the middle of it, right?
Yep.
Right.
Now you have a chance to try to defeat it with the heroes. But whatever empty spaces orthogonally to the monsters are left at the end of the season, you're going to have to take some negative points. What if I told you that the zombies, if you don't block them in, they're going to keep creating more zombies, which keeps creating more empty spaces, which keeps creating more negative. Now you really, Verla, have to shift your attention from all that juicy scoring you were doing to getting rid of the stupid monsters. But,
I'm so excited for this. This sounds awesome.
Oh yeah, the designers help you out. Look, if you want to see a terrible sheet, I don't remember actually. Jay, you're gonna have to tell me. I don't remember which one of us won. You probably won. Yeah, I'm gonna get to the volcano in just a second. So you'll see right here.
If you, BJ, if you don't remember who won, it means Jay won. We covered that with Hoop Gods. We covered that.
Okay. I think this was a solo one I did. And as you can see, I didn't score very many points, 18 points. It was just terrible. I think I might have gotten Jay at the end. But if you see, the other thing about this expansion is that they're bringing in what they call map packs. The one that I have right here is, I can't remember the name of it. It starts at an N, but it's basically dwarven volcanic lands. And you've got this volcano in the middle. And of course, when volcano cards come out, the volcano is going to erupt and spread lava all over the place, messing up whatever you have on your board. And unlike the monsters, there's really not much you can do about that. I mean, you're kind of stuck with what you see there. But yeah, love those heroes. Love what they can do for you. You see Ren the lioness and how she protects those issues. That's those season cards, Steve. You're trying to match up the mountains with the forest in certain angles, and that's all the different points that you're going to score. Oh, Verla, thanks for putting up the Cartographers thing.
Yeah,
again,
just got to link up.
The season cards are known, though. It's always going to be the same thing. You're going to start out with A, B, meaning, was it spring is the first one, I think? A and B, the two A and B gold cards are going to be there. Okay. Then it's like A and C.
Like Isle of Sky.
Yeah. You played Isle of Sky.
Just like
very similar to that. Yeah, it's got that mechanic. So you get to do some planning. In fact, a lot of times, the games that I've won, I've actually had a suboptimal season because I'm really setting up for that next season. I have that big one for the next season. I might kind of punt this season because I just can't really make it work. Yeah. I think Jay told me that the dragon was his favorite. The dragon says, when all dragon spaces are surrounded or destroyed, you get... Oh, yeah. So there's this theory about coins. And coins give you special bonuses. I don't remember that from the first one, but it might have been in the base game, right?
I think it was just bonus points.
Yeah. There's part of the lava flow. There it is. So Nebulous is one of the map packs that have come out. There are 3 that have been announced so far on the Kickstarter. They're optional unless you go all in. But I recommend that Nebulous. I've actually had a lot more fun playing the volcano one than I did the base game. So cool. I think it's they didn't send me the other one, so I didn't get to play all the other ones. But as you can see, you get a lot for this game, and it's reasonably priced too. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, I need to get over there and back this.
Yeah, October's gonna be brutal, but this is one of those that I'm recommending people. Is
this standalone or is this an expansion? Not an expansion to Cartographers, but a new game in the Cartographers universe?
I think it is you know what?
See.
Let's go to the Kickstarter page.
I'm up there right now, trying to find it. Okay, the Heroes version can be played as a standalone or combined with the original. Okay.
Best of both worlds.
So you could play it by itself. And there's all the different awards that the base game had won. I want to say it was even recommended or maybe even nominated for the...
I think it was a nominee.
I think it was.
Yeah.
This is everything you get in the base game. So obviously you're getting enough to play with, all the things. And then you can also get... Okay, no, sorry. Here's the base game of the standalone expansion. And as you can see, you get the pencils, you get the maps, you get all the cards. So you can play the game. If you go back to this one, this is the one that comes with the cool box that has both of the the front covers, and it gives you all of the different things. So you can actually go in and get all 3 map packs. And if you want to, get all the colored pencils. I didn't know this, but when Sagan taught me the game, the first thing he brought out, he's like, hey, we got to play it with colored pencils. I'm like, what are you talking about? It is so much more fun because I'm a terrible artist, Verla. So trying to draw little swords and stuff, and it all kind of became a big blob on the paper.
Right.
Colored pencils, each of the different ones, the forests are green and the mountains are brown. So
the water is blue. It's great. It's so much fun with colored pencils.
Looks good.
I think I went and bought some specifically just for that game.
And that's Cartographers Heroes. It's out on Kickstarter. Just starting today. It's going to be out for a while on Kickstarter. Reasonably priced. If you already have the game, you can just get the Cartographer Heroes part. It's going to throw in those Heroes cards. Going to throw in some extra monsters, but get the map pack. At least the Volcano one. It's the only one I've tried, but all of the map packs look really cool.
Good
Steve,
to
you
know.
like rolling rights? Is this
I
something you're
do.
interested in?
I do. And for me, theme is, nice in a roll and write. If you can add something to it, it's not necessary for me because I play some of, that are just plain dice and numbers and what have you. But
Yeah.
if there's something in there that could really make it pop in terms of you pretend you're actually doing something, you feel like you're drawing in the water, you're drawing in the what have you, making it real with the colors, sure, bring it up.
I don't need theme. I mean, Gonshan, Clever, and Dizzle. I mean, I like both those games. They don't have any theme at all.
Nope.
Right.
The puzzle itself is fun,
Yeah.
but I do like it whenever you're doing something with it. We just got in today a review copy of. I'm gonna mess up the name. Super 4K Pinball.
Oh yeah,
You get
yeah.
what it's called?
4K or something like that.
Super Pinball 4K, something like that.
I think so.
That's Jeff Engelstein's
That's
take on
Jeff Engelstein's pinball game.
pinball game, a roll and write or a flip and write. I haven't opened up the box yet, so I'm not sure. A pinball game, complete with flippers, tilting, the whole, and a bunch of different. I think it comes with 3 or 4 different pinball machines. So, as a kid old enough to play a lot of pinball growing up, I was terrible at it, but we played a lot of pinball. That's exciting. I like the fact that somebody's thinking outside the box. It's not just flipping numbers; it's actually doing something with it.
Suzanne, who is the queen of the roll and writes, lost her mind over this game.
Yay or nay?
Unbelievable. So, yes,
Oh.
this is it's like you're playing pinball. And she was kind of the same way I was saying, roll and writes don't have to have a great theme. They can be just a puzzle that you're playing. But you can feel like you're bumping the pinball machine with your hip, trying to get that little extra action off the side. Just don't tilt. She was really, really enthused about this game a couple of weeks back on the Dice Tower. Really, really enthused.
And what did you guys say it was called?
Something Pinball 4K, Super Pinball 4K, I think.
Okay, I have not heard of this one until you guys are telling about it tonight. Got to check that out.
Yep.
I want to get the name right. So what? 4K didn't pop. All right, Jack. Anybody out there know? It's terrible. I should know the name. I just don't remember.
Super Skill Pinball 4K, but it's for the number.
Okay.
Super Skill Pinball, 4K.
All right, let me throw this down here. And that is Cartographers Heroes out on Kickstarter right now, so check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can get that up here real quick. Yep, there it is. I think I have it right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys see it or not yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I see the 3 of us still.
There we go.
That's the
Super
one.
Skill
Yes,
Pinball 4K.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
WizKids sent me a copy of it, so it's a review copy. But I mean, I looked at it, and it looks like a little pinball machine. It does have the dice. I was told by Dave that it's a roll and write, of course, but it already comes like with dry erase for you to mark up on instead of paper. Yeah. I think that's what he told me. So I'm kind of curious about that. It's got 4 different pinballs: Carnival, Cyber Hack, Dance Fever, and Dragon Slayer. Man, right out of the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, this is.
When Suzanne was talking about it, she was also saying, and Mandy was asking, all right, if it's pinball, does it do multi-ball? And Suzanne was like, yes, it does multi-ball. It does the
Does it
exact
really
thing
do that?
She said so. I haven't seen it in action. I haven't looked at any of the videos in support of it. But yes, if you can be having 2 things going at the same time, that was the brilliance of playing pinball in the 70s and 80s. If you can get that going where it's multi-ball, that's fantastic.
All right, so Jeff's got it. It's a weight of only 2.0, so something fairly easy to teach. 30-minute play time. That's not bad at all. It's getting good ratings. Haven't played it yet, so I'm anxious to try it. That was
interesting to hear about your experience with that one.
I will look forward to it. I wonder if that's one where you and I could play over Zoom, the 3 of us.
Let me know. We can try.
Would everybody need to have a copy, or could you be playing in such a way that you feel like you're on the same board?
Yeah, let me see if I can put pencil to the test and see if that would work. That would be fun if we played.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if I had it right here, I'd break it out, but that would be pretty tough. It's at the office right now. So,
Well,
All right, so
going
that
back, I should say Cartographers. We've played that by Zoom as well, my family and I, and that has worked out well, even with the monsters and passing back and forth. We just kind of went, because I think it's like, Battleship, where you've got the numbers down the one side and letters on the top, and say, okay, I want the monster going on yours on A6, and it totally worked.
That could work.
I didn't even think about it. That would be a fun game to play on Zoom.
Yeah.
If, like you said, if it's easy enough just to say, hey, here's my sheet. Where do you want to attack me?
Right.
It worked really well for us.
That would be interesting. All right. So, anything else? Any other games you want to talk about? Not up. If not, Toby says it's time to close.
Toby
says he's done. He wants his block.
Toby's been done for a long time.
Toby wants his block.
Yeah. No, no other games to really. I did play one with Jay that was a good little abstract game. But we'll save that for another time because it's kind of something that should be shown to talk about. The only other thing to add is that I don't know if you've noticed, BJ, but everything's stabilized since Verla came on the show. The show knows who owns the show.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you.
What can I say?
Verla Live is what it should be called. Yeah.
Yep.
It should be called that. All right, board gamers, that's it for another wacky, wild episode of Gumbo Live, the Fiasco edition. Make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/BoardGameGumbo, and our YouTube channel. Next week, we hope to get a wrap up from Steve on his fundraiser. So we got another hurricane in the Gulf. So now's the time. We still have room. Steve's willing to match up to $250.
Yep.
So if there's anybody in the chat crew that wants to help raise funds for hurricane relief, is that right, Steve?
Disaster relief. You can do it your own. You can do your own thing so long as it's related to that. And all I need is for somebody. If somebody pledges, I'll put in another $25. And
you're gonna match up to $250.
Up to $250. Yep. And I think you said we were somewhere around like one. Were we at 150? Close.
We're definitely at 150. We might be at 200.
Okay, so just cap it off, and sadly the need is still there, and the need's going to be returning. So
if you got any spare little piazzas, we call it here. If you got any piazzas out there, throw it your favorite charity. That's all you have to do. Tell Steve about it.
Let us know about it.
Yeah.
And he's going to match it up with it. Next week, we've got our special guests. So make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/BoardGameGumbo, or our YouTube channel. It helps us get the word out about all of our upcoming shows, including Matt Riddle. That's right. Matt Riddle from Motor City Gameworks. He started up a new company. He's still doing publishing with other companies.
Right.
But those, what does he call them? Those themeless little Euros that he likes to make. Disappointingly mathy Euros is what he calls them. He can actually publish them himself through him and Ben through Motor City Gameworks. So I am super excited about Matt coming on the show. And it's going to be the return of either Heartthrob, the board game, or maybe a new game, right?
Maybe
a new game. We can work it out. We might have a surprise
cooking.
game for you next week. I know. We got something that we're trying to cook. So I need to throw that up in our little chat so we can get Verla to chime in on the scoring part.
Cool.
All right, I'm BJ from Board Game Gumbo. And until next time, Verla and Steve, let's say le bon temps roulette.